What's up, Soul Warriors? Welcome to Winning Wednesday Live with LC and you. We got a lot to talk about today. So we're going to talk about unity today. We're going to talk about the 30-day mindset reset challenge that's going on across all our social media platforms. Going to dig in a little bit deeper today on what I put up yesterday, in the title of Pick Your Battles, and really how we begin to do that and what the importance of that is. And we're going to talk about adversity and how it's the best way to learn. We're going to talk about breaking cycles, the negative stigma. We're going to talk about embracing one another. We're all in recovery. And the way we choose to recover, if it works for us, we got to applaud it. We got to get over ourselves deciding what's right and what's wrong because it's not our way. And the more we do that, the closer we get to our goal of breaking the negative stigma of addiction and recovery. So you guys go ahead and get this video shared out across all your groups and platforms, your friends and family, anybody that you think needs some upliftment today. And if you're ready, well then by all means, y'all know I'm ready. Let's go. It's Winning Wednesday, and I'm grateful to be here with all of you as always. I love doing this. I feel like it's a purpose, it's a passion, and I just feel like, guys, if I can do this, I know you can do this. Like, I'm serious. I really, really, really thought that addiction, this horrible life I had, experienced, this inability to be comfortable in my own skin, I felt like a mistake. And I lived that way because I believed that way. I was a done deal, y'all. I was a done deal. And I thought there was no coming back from where I was. So that's why I do this, is because, I know I'm a miracle. I know sitting here today that I am a miracle. And I also know what steps and strategies and all those things I had to put into practice in my life, because I didn't get to lay on the couch and, proclaim I'm a miracle by not doing anything. But I also have to know what to do and what to let my higher power do. It's a very fine line. And sometimes we get into frustration trying to do it all and we get overwhelmed. So we do nothing. And when we get into that place, that's where we're in fear of relapse. That's where we are in fear of giving up. That's where we start to believe we can't. So that's why I come here and do these things. And, I know that because I'm a miracle, I know that each and every one of you are a miracle. And if I can help you come to believe that, then that's my job. Then that's what I get to do. Because if I can spark a little bit of hope in you, just a little bit, you don't need to have like 100% hope to get started in your journey. You just got to have a spark, and a spark of hope leads to an amazing amount of belief, and belief is what brings to you the things that you are wanting in life. And I'm not talking about cars and houses and all those things. I'm talking about who you want to be. Because let me tell you, there is nothing that we want on earth because we want the possession of that thing or that person. We want the feeling that it brings. So when we listen to people talk about manifestation and law of attraction and all of that good guru stuff, we got to remember that it's not stuff we're chasing. It's the feeling that we think that's going to bring us. So if I can help you realize that you already have greatness in you and that you can be happy within you right where you are today with what you have, then sky's the limit for you. Sky's the limit for you. Good morning, Yvonne. Good morning, Bradley Bagwell. Oh gosh, thank you for telling me that. It's St. Patrick's Day. Mary Huffman, good morning. Joni Faulkner, Libby, LaDonna Jameson, Larry Brown. I love Larry Brown. Mary Huffman, did I say good morning to you? If there's anybody else here that I haven't said good morning to, or for any of you that will watch this video later, good morning, and thank you for being here. Remember, like and share what we're doing on these platforms because we're trying to get a message out of hope. So we've been in the midst of this 30-day mindset reset challenge, and today is going to be day 3. I haven't put a video up for that yet, but I don't really plan them out. I really just start thinking about my life because I'm telling you guys, I came from the trash can to what I feel like is the penthouse. And it's because that's what I'm talking about inside of me, you know? And so yesterday I put up a video about picking our battles. And I started thinking about how important that really was in my life because we come from a place of active addiction, usually getting there through some type of trauma or, you know, lack of self-love or self-worth. And we're in that mind. And when you're in active addiction, you are in survival mode all the time. So you've got a high level of cortisol. You've got a high level of that stress hormone so that everything is, you're on high alert all the time. You're like a soldier at war. You're always watching your back and you're always looking for that next thing that you must have, that next fix. And it starts happening before you even get, you get into the fix you have now. You're already thinking about the next one. Well, we take away the substance or the habit. We step into recovery and we think it's about just abstaining from, substance or habit. And we try to fight that with willpower. The reason it's so important for us to understand how big of a deal that mindset plays in all of this is because life and success in anything is about 5% strategy and 95% mindset. You got to think you can in the smallest little way in order to move through it. Because so many years I stayed in active addiction because I never believed that I could manage recovery. I didn't have the right ideas about it. See? And, one of my biggest go-to emotions in my entire life, I mean, from start to, I'd say even 5 years ago, was anger. Explosive anger. Everything went into anger. I lived in a victim mindset. I lived in that the guy who cut me off in traffic did it to me personally. And I was pissed. You hear me? Like I would let that ruin an entire day because I really felt like that was a personal attack on me. And I really started studying some things and I really got into the mindset because I knew coming into this recovery journey 8 years ago that the one common denominator in all of my relapses and using and victimizations was my mindset, was the way I was thinking about my pain, the way I was thinking about other people and what I was really putting out there as far as what I was expecting out of life. Because I lived by the code If you don't expect nothing, you can't be upset when nothing comes. And I lived by those mottos. I lived by those affirmations, and we're going to get to that in a second, because you're giving affirmations every single day, whether you think you are or not. And so I had to start beginning to pick those battles. I had to start realizing that maybe I'm not. I just started asking myself different questions. How could a stranger who doesn't know me cut me off in traffic and it be a personal attack on me? I had to start realizing that every opportunity to argue that presented itself to me, was it necessary? Did I have the mental capacity to hear what the other person was saying, or did I just want to be right? And the best thing that I realized in all of that was my father had died in his very early 50s, and he was a lot like me. We stayed angry about things. We fought every battle that came in front of us because we felt like was how we had to live life. And his death made a huge impact on me because I felt it happening within me. I was angry every day. Every day I was angry. I couldn't go 5 miles down the road without getting so enraged that I felt like my heart was going to explode. And I had no idea that the majority of that anger I was feeling wasn't anger at all. It was feeling unseen. I had to trace how far this went back. The guy who cut me off in traffic made me feel unseen and unimportant. How dare you? Almost like you went, do you know who I am? I don't even know who I am. But I'm a human being, and I don't deserve to be cut off like that. I don't deserve not to be seen. When I started taking apart all that anger, how enraged I was feeling all the time, and realizing that I was giving my life over to the control of the guy in traffic or everyone else in the world. I was giving the control of my life, my day, my recovery, my well-being over to the hands of strangers. I was expecting people to read my mind and know what my needs were, when in turn, I didn't know what my needs were. There is a true presence to deciding in a moment what battles you're going to fight. And the more you get to know yourself in your healing process in recovery, the more you know what you stand for and what's worth your battle. And there's one thing that I want to battle today, and that is, I've been across many social media platforms in the recovery community, and one new one here lately. And I keep seeing this battle that goes on between everybody's form of recovery. I see people standing up for what they feel like they believe in, but maybe in some ways that aren't very healthy or helpful to our cause. Because let me back it up and say this to all of us. We can't ask society to break the negative stigma that they feel about recovery and addiction if we can't do it in-house, in community first. When we spend unnecessary emotional energy on fighting on what way of recovery is right, wrong, or shouldn't even be considered in recovery, we are wasting vital energy and love and space on something that's only from a personal perspective. And we're human beings. It's what we are geared towards doing. It's kind of our default programming to think, oh, well, this works for me. It should work for you. And if you're not doing it this way, or if you've added a little something to it that maybe isn't my way, then you're not in recovery. Who are we to say that? But I know I spend the majority of my public life trying to fight for unity and us breaking like traditional generational curses of addictive behavior that goes on and on and on, as well as trying to show society that we do recover. And we recover boldly, and we are unified, and we are all fighting the same battle, regardless of substance, habit, whatever. We're fighting a battle for healthy wholeness, happiness, and it's every human being on earth's battle. And until we in this community realize that we have something to give to society as a whole and stop fighting amongst ourselves and deciding, who's doing it better than somebody else, and we just embrace one another and say, I see your battle. And I applaud you for doing what you need to do to keep yourself well today. And we go and we embrace those that are still in active addiction, that are still needing to see that they have a support system in all of us. I mean, imagine sometimes, and I've experienced this on all platforms. Imagine being somebody in active addiction sometimes, looking at what we're doing and thinking, man, I need some support. I need some help. But shoot, everybody's kind of, everybody is in their own little boxes. I mean, what box do I choose? It's too overwhelming. I guess I'm going to use another day. And then what happens if that's their last day? When we've got something to say to the world, which is, man, we're all looking for the same things: love, acceptance, importance. We want to be seen. We want to be heard. We want to be loved. We want to be cherished. And until we can do that for ourselves, we can't necessarily ask someone else to do it, because they'll never be able to give us all we need. And if we don't see how recovery actually translates into every other thing that we're looking for in the world, then we're missing a great point. And what I think all of our highest power and true creator has brought us here to do. If we can't spend time bringing together ourselves, this one community, in love and in acceptance, because each one of us should be keeping our own inventory, and we should be working on ourselves each day, be going from hopeless to hopeful. What my friend and brother Anthony McCauley says, from overdose to CEO. Just to let y'all know, he's doing great. He had his surgery on the 15th. He got all put back together. He's got his axle put back together. He's tightened up. He's ready to go. And when he comes back to us in this recovery community, he's going to come back on fire like he always does. But y'all keep him in your prayers. And, I've met some amazing people in speaking about recovery in this online recovery community. Some of you all that I love so much every single day, I've never even laid physical eyes on. But it doesn't take away from the closeness that I feel. And each one of us are doing things in a different way. And I think what I want to show up here and express, and the importance of my message, is deal with your root causes of addiction. I'll say the old cliche. I do not always want to be the gazelle looking for the lion of relapse. Man, I want to be the lion and chase relapse out of my existence. And the only way I can do that is by dealing in-house and starting to understand my triggering emotions. You see, adversity is accepting that Challenges in our lives are the best ways to learn. And our triggers don't have to be these big lions that we fight fist to fist. Sit down with that trigger and talk to that trigger because it's trying to tell you something. It's trying to let you know where the mishap is inside. And if you find that when you get angry, you're highly triggered. And I don't suggest that you do this by yourself. I suggest that you have a mentor, a coach, a therapist, a counselor, a great friend, a sponsor, however and whoever you can find that's got some time and that's done the work and that you know has done the work. Explore. If you take away that things are just coming at you, triggers and life happenings and circumstances, and all that stuff is just coming at you to torture you, you're going to be triggered every time. But if you get into it from the place of, this is my adversity and this is how I'm going to learn, and I can sit with this trigger as a friend, not a foe, as a friend, and we can discuss what's happening. When I get that angry and I want to escape, let me investigate the anger. Because I really had to do that. And I used to have an hour-long commute to work every morning and then another hour-long commute back home. And I would use that time to get in touch with me. Because you can be triggered in an hour, but if you're stuck driving down the road, there ain't too much you can do about it. So I would use those times to work on me. I would ask myself all the time, why does that man cut me off in traffic bother me so much? What am I feeling? And that's when I discovered that as a child, I felt unseen and unheard. My mom and I were in a very abusive situation where if you walked too loud in the house, something terrible happened. And I learned very early on that my survival depended upon how unseen I was. That's powerful, y'all. That's powerful. Because now that gives me an edge on being able to take control of my mind when that guy cuts me off. Because I started telling myself a new story. I realized that man didn't know me when I was a kid. He didn't abuse me, didn't tell me, none of that happened. So my new story became, he's got his mind on 1,000 other things. Maybe his wife has just been diagnosed with breast cancer. Maybe he's trying to get his kids to school on time, because if he doesn't, he may lose custody of them or he may lose visitation. And it didn't matter whether these stories were true. It gave me a human connection with another human being. Right? Strategy. Mindset, strategy. Success, 5% strategy, 95% mindset. Had I not visited that trigger of anger, I may not have been able to trace that back to that early childhood abuse. And don't think just because we don't think about that stuff on a daily basis doesn't mean that it ain't living down up under the surface of our central nervous system. We're all one, mind, body, spirit. And this whole outfit works together. Because if your mind is not there, your body doesn't run. And your mind is not your brain. Your mind, that thing that you don't see, because they can't measure mind, that thing you don't see is what's running your brain. It's what's telling my mouth to move. It's sending, signals down to my throat to make my vocal cords rub together. There's so much going on in our lives and our existence that should keep us busy in our own house, than to be judging someone else's house or their walk. And I'm telling you, the world needs what we got, but we got to get it cleaned up within our own communities so that we can present it to the world in a way that people begin to get healthy, whether they're addicted to substance, habit, or not. But you show me somebody that can't get out of control with whatever they're using to escape from their feelings. But we like to point fingers at people that get addicted and say, well, they lost control. How many advertisements for alcohol and fast food do we see in a day watching TV? And yet, as soon as one of the people that watch that commercials and feel that subliminal programming, the moment one of them loses control, then they've got the problem. That's an easy judgment to make. But I'm telling you, when we get our stuff together here in this recovery community and we begin to accept one another and truly reach out and say, hey, I'm here, you're struggling and I see you. And whatever way you are recovering and gaining your health, man, I'm for it. It might not be my way, but that's okay. Personalize your progress and watch where you go. But I love you anyway. Like, I love you. Like, there's no, we don't have to be in the same mind, in the same mindset, have the same opinions about anything for me to love you. I love you because we're two human beings and we're fighting that same monster. We're just doing it with different weapons. And I think, and this is just my opinion, if we clean all that up one to another, then when we step out into the world and ask them to break their negative stigma of addiction and recovery and give us all the chances and the opportunities that we've worked hard for, then we've got a greater foundation to stand on. Versus them looking at me and going, why would you ask me to do something that the people in that community can't even do for themselves? We got a job here, ladies and gentlemen. You are a miracle, and you are a miracle for a reason. Because you've been called to do something greater than maybe what you understand right now. And whether you give your message of hope to 1 or 1 million people matters not. Because you never know who that one person is you're talking to. And the more we get to give away the amazingness and the work that we do within us, the more room we make to do more. I think that, I love the cliche, that statement, give it away to keep it. I think that's amazing because wisdom sounds one way within ourselves. It sounds a whole nother way when it comes out to somebody else. Sometimes it makes sense and sometimes it don't. I'm a fool for analogies, right? And sometimes they make sense. Sometimes they only make sense to me. But I still got to run them by somebody. So, embrace today that, your adversities, your challenges are the best way for you to learn and to get with somebody that is trusted to you, that has that time if you're in early recovery. And if you're strong enough to do it on your own, then by all means do it. But when that trigger comes, and maybe not even just the trigger to use, but a trigger to get into an unhealthy place of mind or place of heart or emotion, before we try to deny that the elephant's in the room, how about sitting down with the elephant and saying, what are you here to teach me? Are you here to show me that there's still a place inside of me subconsciously that I don't know is harming me? Sometimes, we got to make friends, so to speak, with our enemies or our triggers. Because until we understand what they're trying to say, the message they're trying to give us, they're going to keep coming. And they're going to keep coming bolder and stronger and bolder and stronger. And before we know it, we're going to be pinned down for them to say, listen to me. You keep trying to avoid this anger, and I keep coming here to tell you there's a place in you that needs to be healed. And I'm not letting you up until you heal it. And many times just the awareness of it will heal that place. We got a lot to do, y'all. But we got each other to help us through. And that is amazing to me. So I hope that all of you are involved in the 30-day mindset reset challenge. If you're not, I've been sharing it here to Facebook, but it's there on TikTok at Recovery Soul Food. And what a platform that is. And Instagram at recovery_soul food. And of course, right here on Facebook at Lona Curry and Recovery Soul Food. I just want to lend you guys 1 minute a day. It takes 1 minute a day for 30 days straight to start to rechange your mindset in different directions. So remember today to pick your battles. You don't have to fight everything that comes in your presence to fight. Sometimes the fight is no fight at all, and that makes you the conqueror. Please remember to continue to pray for our brother and my great friend, Anthony McCauley, as he is recovering from his back surgery. Continue to pray for our good friend and brother, Matty J, and his family as they are going through their grief process. And as always, thank you all for the prayers for our family as we mourn the loss of my amazing brother-in-law. Big guy, biggest heart I've ever seen in my life. I am grateful to have known him and been able to have him in my experience and learn from him. He was a great human being in recovery himself, getting ready to go to many next levels. And, well, that is what it is. And so I love all of you. I keep all of you in my prayers and energy all the time. And don't you ever, ever, ever forget it. If you think nobody believes in you, you better think again, baby, because I believe you can do anything that you put your mind to. So I'm going to see you guys this Saturday night. But listen, next Saturday night, I got a very special guest coming on who is an actual neuro-linguistic programming instructor and coach. And we're going to talk about how NLP can help us in our addictions, how these little mind tricks help us process so much. And I really cannot wait to bring her to you all. I want to really bring this season in to give you some real tips and tricks and hacks and information, inspiration and motivation to really begin that change that we set out for in our lives, because you can do anything and everything you put your mind to. You get me excited, you hear me? Make me just want to do the punch. I just want to wig out in this chair. I got to start doing this stuff standing up again, because sitting in this chair is hard. I need a seat belt. You guys get me so excited. So, you know what? Know that I love you. Know that we're all here for you and we believe in you. And I'll see y'all Saturday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here, Recovery Soul Food. Like, share, subscribe. I love you. See y'all then.